to see. All right. Good morning. We are live. I'm going to see if Jason can. 1 second. What's up?
Did you start it?
Yes. What's up? Go grab it. That's fine. All right. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Abby, you want to wave to the world?
The world, huh?
Yeah.
Where are the drill bits in here?
Yeah, everything's in there. Sorry. Home projects everywhere. All right, welcome. Opening weekend of the playoffs, wild card round. Ghost, let's just get right after it. You got Buffalo. I got the Colts today. Why does Buffalo win?
It's a different Josh Allen. This is I know we're talking about the same Josh Allen that seemingly has the reputation, despite only being in the league a couple of years, that this guy can't win a big game or can't win a playoff game, and rightfully so. I get it. I mean, it's got a very easy matchup, especially last year, and they just couldn't take advantage. So I'm going right back to it. Stephon Diggs absolutely changes this entire offense, similarly what DeAndre Hopkins does for the Cardinals and a bunch of these offseason acquisitions. So I'm going right back to it. I've been fading noodle season the entire season. This is a game where I can't see them pulling this one off. This Bills team is legit. I don't know how else to say it.
Oh man, I get it's probably the best for a DFS perspective if we're talking just a Saturday only. So this is by far the game you want to invest in the most. No one has the floor, no one has the ceiling that Josh Allen has. 100% agreed. But man, remember last year he just fell apart against a bad Houston defense in the second half. So I'm on Indy +7 today. If anybody doesn't know, I bet that early in the week. I think I bet it like 3 times. Now the line's at 6.5. I don't think there's as much value at 6.5 as there is at 7. Sounds like DeForest Buckner is going to give it a go. So I think he's just a warrior. Obviously, he's not going to be at 100%, but he is a very, very crucial part of that defense. But what I like the most here is Indy's offensive line is probably the best in football, and Buffalo is brutal against the run. I think they're ranking 16th in run defense DVOA, so right in the middle of the pack there, but they do give up over 4.5 yards a carry as of late, expected yards a carry, so going into the 80 model there. Who do you think? Like, how do you think this game script goes? I'm building my lineups as if Buffalo gets up and kind of does what they want, and Indy has to play catch up. So I'm going with Nyheim Hines over Jonathan Taylor, which I think is probably a suicide mission because Jonathan Taylor and Chris Carson are going to be the most popular running backs on the slate. And maybe, I'm sure Cam Akers too. It's hard to not like a guy that gets 20 touches, even though Rams run defense and Seattle's run defense is very, very solid. So I'm going to fade Jonathan Taylor just because I can't afford him, and I'm telling myself that the Bills get up early and they use a shit ton of Nyheim Hines. So, I mean, the dude's floor, Hines has a really good floor in PP. I'm a DraftKings player more than FanDuel, so I'm sure, that's why I'm interested to talk to you about this game, because I think from FanDuel, it's a whole different build. Maybe not a whole different game theory, but a little bit different build. Is a guy like Nyheim Hines probably doesn't do it for you on FanDuel.
I thought you would rip me to shreds for fading Jonathan Taylor for Nyheim Hines. I was actually texting Adam and Tulok, and they're like, yeah, Stix is going to tell you that, just a little bit of surprise. Stix is going to tell you that he's fading Jonathan Taylor. And I was like, oh man, I thought I would be out on an island on that one, but I can't get there. Almost $9,000 on FanDuel. I'm not paying a premium price for a guy like that. I absolutely want another running back that we're going to talk about in one of the next 2 games that I have pretty much locked into all my lineups and definitely my main. With that guy in there, I'm pretty much only rolling 2 running backs. Some of them are going to be 3, but most of my builds have 4 wide receivers instead of 3 running backs, and JT just doesn't make it for me. We're talking about a guy that his ownership is through the roof, that for 13 weeks out of 17, all he was doing was running into his offensive linesman's butts. This guy couldn't find a hole for the life of him. I get it, he's running hot, but if we're riding hot streaks, then how can we not look at Josh Allen and think that they get up in this game, and then Nyheim Hines comes and does work in the passing game? We know that Phillip Rivers loves to check the ball down. I mean, this guy plays more tight ends and more running backs in their rotations than they do wide receivers. So I'm all aboard Nyheim Hines, and he's dirt cheap at 5,600 on FanDuel. So even though I would like for it to be full point PPR, I'm still going there on FanDuel as well.
Awesome. I love it. So if you guys can afford Jonathan Taylor, I don't think any of us would talk you off him. I'm just making it a priority to play Josh Allen and Diggs in every single lineup. So with that, I don't want to punt multiple wide receivers. I am going to punt one wide receiver spot. And for me, it is going to be Zach Pascal. And then in lineups, I don't go with Pascal. I'm going to go with Michael Pittman. I much rather have Zach Pascal because we pick on Teron Johnson. He's the nickel corner there on the inside for Buffalo, who struggles. He's definitely been better than he was the last couple of years. I think last year I'd pick on him every single week. This year, for the most part, too. I think Lockett had the monster game against him. Or was that DK game? Was the Buffalo game a DK game or a Lockett monster game?
It
was DK, wasn't it? Yeah,
DK
he
Metcalf game.
shredded Tre'Davious White, and I thought Lockett would be the play because of Teron Johnson, but sometimes you just can't cover DK Metcalf. But who do you like more, Pascal or Pittman? And the reason I say that is because, again, in this, if you use Pascal, he's going to help you afford a guy like Jonathan Taylor too. So if you're all in on Taylor, by all means, run it. But you're getting so much cheap exposure to a guy that's going to be on the field 80% of the time for Zach Pascal.
We've been doing it for 17 weeks. I'm certainly not differing from the strategy anytime soon. It was a very profitable NFL season, so I'm going right back to Zach Pascal. The targets have been there, or at least more so than Michael Pittman. High percentage of the snaps as well, and he does have that touchdown equity when they get inside the red zone. And if God forbid Phillip Rivers somehow pulls off a miracle where he doesn't throw to a tight end or a running back, the main guy that he's going to be looking at is going to be Zach Pascal on a quick slant or anything like that. So I'll gladly take Pascal in that matchup on the inside. He's going to absolutely roast Teron Johnson. Whether it's down the field, I don't really think so. It's just more so a lot of these in routes and a lot of these 10 to 15-yard games are going to be going to him more so than with Pittman. I mean, with the way that T.Y. Hilton's been playing in the second half of the season, I guess I'll give him a bit of leverage. It was more so just the past couple of weeks, but we'll say the second half of the season. Michael Pittman is kind of fading in that offense in the sense that they play a very similar role. And, Phillip Rivers being the veteran that he is, I really do think that, they're going to count on more so the veterans than some rookies out there today.
Yeah, Michael Pittman, I think he has the skill to, like, on the GPP side of things. I think Michael Pittman's your guy just because he's got much higher upside than Zach Pascal. Pascal, we're going to need a touchdown to get 15 points. I think Pittman could get there just on volume alone or a deep play, and he's going to see a ton of Levi Wallace. He'll see some Tre'Davious White too, but Teron Johnson is the matchup there. What I found interesting when going through the Colts numbers is the beginning of the season, like the first 10 weeks, Zach Pascal is the number one priority in the red zone. He has the most red zone targets there for that offense. And then as the season kind of shifted, Michael Pittman led that role. So it's a really hard decision. They're both very similar in price. I think on FanDuel, I would lead in Pittman just because that upside and the big playability, I just don't see that with Zach Pascal. I think he's more of a, like your Jamison Crowder type of guy. You kind of know what you're getting. If he does, he's not, very unlikely to catch a deep ball or anything like that. Pittman can do that. He's got breakaway speed. So I'm just torn between the two of them. So I'm going to split it up. And then on the Buffalo side, obviously Diggs, John Brown. You got any love for Beasley this week?
Not as much. For me, I'm all in on Stephon Diggs. And when I'm paying that high of a price for a wide receiver that, he will be the highest scoring wide receiver on the slate today. So I want to make sure that I can get all the volume that I can for Stephon Diggs. And, we talk about it in NBA, how your lineup has to make sense. We've been talking about it in NFL. We talk about it in every sport, how your lineup has to, tell a story or at least make sense. And that, you don't have guys with negative correlation. And I don't want little dump offs to Cole Beasley. So I want to make sure that I can get all the Stephon Diggs that I can get. John Brown is really cheap, so I don't mind the exposure there. But at that point, or at least on FanDuel, I'd much rather just go up $300 to Cole Beasley, because if anybody other than Diggs is scoring a touchdown, I don't want that scenario. I want Diggs getting all the touchdown equity that I can get. So I'd rather go with the safer floor of Beasley to be able to say, like, hey, he can catch 8 or 9 balls for 70, 80, 90, maybe even 100 yards. That's fine. I'm cool with that. When you dip into this $6,000 and less wide receiver range on FanDuel, the touchdown equity is slim to none there. So I'd rather go with the floor of Beasley and really hope that, Diggs ends up catching all the touchdowns possible today.
All right. Any better on the volume right now? Can any
Yeah, it's so much better. I thought it was me. I was taking out my AirPods. I was like, oh my god, my pods just broke live on air. I was
No,
like,
it's because I move around too damn much. I need a new microphone, one that picks up better. But yeah, please let me know if this is any better in the comments if possible. But yeah, basically what I was saying is I'm kind of splitting my lineups, half Pittman, half Pascal, because I need a punt to afford some of the guys that we're going to get to. Nice, the Ghost hoodie season. And then I'm giving a slight edge to Pittman on FanDuel. And then on DraftKings, I'm going to go with Pascal because he's more that PPR guy on the inside with Zach Pascal. I am off and every Buffalo wide receiver besides, well, I'll have a little bit of John Brown, but 100% in on Stephon Diggs. I think he's the best play on the Saturday only slate. Sure, they're going to play zone coverage, so that'll be a little bit of a bracket on Stephon Diggs, but he's such a good route runner. He'll tear up zone defense. So no matter what, I think he's a lock for 5, 6, 7 catches at that price. It doesn't really matter. He is my core play of the day because it would be Jonathan Taylor. I just said you can't really pick both unless you punt to multiple guys because I'm not making a lineup without Josh Allen. Tight end, any love for anybody? Like if you're playing a big field GPP, I guess I would play like Jack Doyle. Buffalo's bad against a tight end. I mean, not awful. DVOA, it's like kind of middle of the pack, but they're healthy. They got Matt Milano and Edmonds there, so I don't know. Do you like anything on is that just gross Dawson Knox or Jack Doyle? I'm not playing Burton ever. We talked about that many times. I'll never play that guy. But like you said, in the red zone, there's 3 guys that are going to get targets. It's Michael Pittman, Zach Pascal, and I think Jack Doyle. One of those tight ends for Indy is going to get a red zone target or 2. So they could certainly score a touchdown. Jack Doyle at 2,900 and Burton at 2,800. They're both the same guy, but I don't know. It's hard to decide. I would rather just not do it. I'd rather just play single entry only on this slate and just jam in Logan Thomas because that's the safest play and get different with Pittman or Pascal.
Yeah, I mean, on FanDuel you could get a bit different just because of how expensive Logan Thomas is, or at least expensive in relation to the remaining of the field. I mean, him and Gronk are kind of way up there, and then everybody else is kind of in no man's land. So I can get down with possibly chasing a Dawson Knox touchdown, but you know that the floor is so low that I don't know if I'd consider it 0, but it's pretty damn close. So like, I don't know. I'm not going to say no to playing a guy like Dawson Knox or taking a shot on one of these indie tight ends. The issue is that if you are playing an indie tight end, you pretty much have to run that lineup 3 times and play one lineup with each of them because you don't know if it's going to be Mo Alley Cox. You don't know if it's going to be Burton. You don't know if it's going to be Doyle. You don't know if they're going to run it to the O-line at that point and have an O-line catch a touchdown. Like you have no idea what's going on with this indie offense in the red zone. So I'd rather just stay away from that. The odd man out that I would consider would be Dawson Knox, if anything. But even then, his floor is so low. And now that they have Beasley in the slot, he's good to go. He's confirmed in for this game. John Brown on the outside. Gabe Davis is going to get a couple snaps. I really can't see it. But if you are going any tight end that's not Logan Thomas or Gronk, Dawson Knox would be my guy.
He's just so gross. He's been money, though, lately. But I'm out there.
Yeah, it's just the target volume is low. I mean, nobody comes close to Logan Thomas in terms of targets at the tight end position on this slate. So really hard for me to go anywhere else, especially on DraftKings where it's full point PPR. I mean, you don't need Logan Thomas to put up Stephon Diggs type stat lines. You just need him to outscore the remainder of the field, and it'll definitely pay off.
We need like 6 for 55, Logan Thomas. You don't even have to score a touchdown because I'm probably playing Bucks D. So just get me like 12, 13, 14 points. Do your thing. It's going to be super popular, so it's not like it's going to be a game changer for you if he goes off or doesn't do a whole lot. But looking at one punt tight end we're going to get to in this next game here, I'll start it off with Jacob Hollister. I don't want to play this guy by any means, but for the price, he's coming up on the 80 model as the number 1 value. Any love for Jacob Hollister?
I hate how chalky he is, but I really do think that they're going to run the ball.
This is what small slates do to me. I'm sorry, guys. Like we have to get this gross on some small slates.
Yeah, we have to because like right away when I looked at the slate, I was like, man, I don't know how many people are going to play Chris Carson. Like there's like I never look at ownership first. I just look at the way that people will try to build, and I was like, okay, Jonathan Taylor, everyone's going to try and play this guy. That's the spot that I'm fading. We already discussed why, and both of us are on the same page there. So that was a ton of fun. Then I was like, okay, I'll get overexposed on Naheem Hines because I'm not going to have Taylor. There's another running back in the next game that I absolutely love, so I'm going to be playing him. And I was like, hey, who's that guy that I'm going to play? And I kept going to Chris Carson, and he's just all of a sudden everybody's playing Chris Carson. It's like, man, like what the ownership is so heavy on these running backs that I could get on board with a play like that. It's exactly what you said. It's really gross, but it's exactly what we have to do on these 3-game slates. I mean, we look at the Thanksgiving slate. Everybody was playing Jordan Akins. Everyone was playing at 3 tight ends from Houston. Like, this is a spot where you can get different. And at the tight end position, if you're not playing Logan Thomas, you might as well get as different as possible while playing Dawson Knox and Jacob Hollister, because all you need is for them to possibly catch a touchdown. If they get a couple catches and some yards on top of that, great. If they could somewhat keep pace with Logan Thomas for your pivot at the wide receiver position, the upgrade that you get by going all the way down to a guy like Jacob Hollister, I'm all in.
You're all in on Jacob Hollister, or you're all
I'm not all in, but I'm all in for that decision. That decision I support 100%, because when you end up making a choice and then you're going, okay, I'm going safe with like we saw in Discord, there was a lot of Jonathan Taylor. Then we saw a lot of Logan Thomas. Then we saw a lot of Josh Allen. It's like, okay, at one point, are you going to get different in your build where you're going to be able to take it down? If you're trying to min cash, then there's a lot of chalky options that it'll keep you safe. But on a 3-game slate like this, you've got to get different in one spot. And I really do feel like at the tight end position, it's not like if Logan Thomas was Travis Kelce and then the next best tight end was like Dawson Knox, Jacob Hollister, and Gronk, we'd say like, yeah, okay, you can't get cute at the tight end position. But Logan Thomas is still Logan Thomas. It's not Kelce, it's not Kittle, it's not Waller. It's not like you can't argue a fade for a guy like that either. So especially for these large field tournaments, if you're somebody out there that's listening and you're playing these tournaments where there's 30, 40, 50,000 people in them, you got to get different. And for me, it's not by fading Stephon Diggs. It's not by fading Josh Allen. It's not by fading any of these other guys.
Yeah, no, I'm with you for sure. Question here by Ron. So Cash, Jackson, Ronald Jones, Akers, Diggs, Higgins, Ebron, Henry, Seahawks. I think how do you afford? You got to get Logan Thomas and I guess no, you don't. If you're getting Henry, and that's tough. I would want Carson in there very badly, in my opinion, but because just from ownership, this is tough. I definitely wouldn't play Rashad Higgins in cash. I would rather go down to Pascal or Pittman in cash as your punt. Both those guys have a 4-catch prop right now. I think actually Pittman's got the 4-catch prop. Juice is on the under, so it's not like they're expecting a huge game. But 42 yards for Pittman, and then Zach Pascal, 3.5 catch prop for 40 yards. So both of those guys have like valuable props to back them, to warrant backing them in cash. Higgins is more of like a do or die deep ball type of guy for me. He's got a 3-catch prop for 44. So same thing, but I'd rather use the savings at like 3,700 for Pittman. You got any thoughts there? It's just
I really like Higgins tomorrow for GPPs, but in cash you got to go with safer floors, especially with only 6 games on top. There's a lot of room for error there.
Yep, I'm with you. You could honestly, you can go down from Lamar down to Josh Allen and see what savings that does too. But I like the rest a ton. But I really like how you kind of didn't stack anybody. That's a really good build.
Yeah.
Just Higgins. I want to get maybe, I don't know. Carson over Ronald Jones for me would be the play. FanDuel Saturday only. Ghost, you got it.
Gibson's going to be that guy that's virtually unowned. I don't see him getting there. We're both of us are big Antonio Gibson truthers, but it's a really tough spot. Alex Smith might not even play, and we'll talk about that when we get to that game. But it's a really tough spot for Antonio Gibson, and with FanDuel, there's really no room for error when picking your running backs. I already shared my position on Jonathan Taylor. I'm off it just because of how chalky he is, and him and Pickman could work together. I rather play the script that they're chasing points, especially with Allen. You need them to be able to, like, if you're playing Allen, Beasley, and Diggs, you're double stacking it. You think that this Bills offense is going to go bonkers, and that means that the Colts have to keep up. And it might not necessarily be with Jonathan Taylor catching balls out of the backfield. It's going to be more so Naheem Hines.
Cool. I'm with you. All right. So we did have Hilton or John Brown. Your call. I don't like either really today. I
have very limited exposure to both. I definitely don't have a lineup with both of them in. I'm just gonna go with the better quarterback and take John Brown there.
Yep, I think I'd do the same. Allen, Hines, Akers, Diggs, Goodwin. I'm assuming that's Godwin, Cup, Thomas, John Brown, Bucks. It's pretty damn good. How can you afford all that? Oh, it's because you're going John Brown. I like that. I like that a lot. How about you?
I like it.
Let's go.
I like it a lot.
We are at the Rams game right now. So Joe, my big buddy Joe, he's pretty much my golf coach right now. Joe, if you need golf questions on Discord, hit up Joe because he knows what he's doing. But I think the Rams get better without Goff. I really liked what I saw out of Wolford just running the ball. Like, it was a new dynamic to that offense we really haven't seen. So what are your thoughts there? I think, like, I got the Rams plus 3.5 earlier in the week because I thought Wolford was going to start, but now we just don't know who's going to start. Unless anybody has any news. I've tried Googling it and Twitter searching everything. It just says game time decision for Goff. But I think the running ability of Wolford kind of helps.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care who's playing quarterback. Anybody that plays at the position in a Sean McVay-led offense, I'll definitely have interest in, especially when, you know, he gives that new dual threat to their offense now, where, you know what, they do have to respect that. We saw what he did in his limited action there, and he's able to run the ball and he's able to run it really well. So I'm expecting McVay to kind of rescheme the offense if that's the case, where, you know what, he got the majority of the snaps in practice and stuff like that. But to see him go 6 for 56 against Arizona, where they do run a ton of spies with Isaiah Simmons and a couple other linebackers there too. So very impressed by Wolford, that's for sure. Obviously, we have to take into consideration that Arizona had no film on him, but it's not like Seattle has a ton either. They have one game to go off of, and knowing McVay, the guy's just an offensive genius. So it limits my exposure to the Rams pass catchers, more so just that, again, if like I'm all in on Josh Allen, I'm not making a single lineup without him. But if you are, I can't blame you for playing Wolford. Like you could almost argue to play him naked and just hope that he runs the ball and goes ballistic, like similarly what we saw with Jalen Hurts towards the second half of the season for Philly. Like he has that kind of game to him. So I'm not really on it per se. Kind of limits my exposure to the Rams wide receivers. But if you want to get really cute in one of these large field tournaments, 50,000 plus people, you could play him naked. Personally, I'm not playing a lineup without Josh Allen though.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Maybe let's just do Saturday only today because we're cruising through time. Then we could do another one tomorrow. Are you free tomorrow?
Yes.
All right, we'll do a Sunday only one today, or tomorrow. But what do you think about this line? Russ, Hines, I don't like Russ as much, but Akers, Cup, Diggs, Pascal, Hollister, Lockett, Bucks. It makes sense to double stack Russ. I like that. I think if you are, though, you got to play Metcalf. But that's going to be a different build today that no one's really going to have. I like that you got Pascal and Diggs and Hines. So if that game, this got the highest total, shoots out, I like it. I mean, no one's going to play Russ. Lockett's
I'm just worried.
I'm
just worried to not have any Bucks exposure there.
He's at the defense. So like this game script is a Bucks win 21-0 and just run it with Fournette and
or like Cameron Braid scores a touchdown or something.
That would be nice. Who would you take out though? I wouldn't take anybody out.
That's the thing. The lineup is so like it works really well.
Move Hines to Rojo maybe. Like would you like that correlation a little bit and just go Diggs and Pascal back and forth, or maybe drop Pascal to Pittman if Hines can't become Rojo without the extra savings?
Yeah, like if you're double stacking Russ, that makes sense. You want to make sure that he goes bonkers, and no one's really playing him too. So if you're going with Russ, you have to go all in. I would keep it to one Colt in that case and hope that it's more so like I don't want to say a grit and grind game, but more so that these teams might not be able to finish every drive. If you could play it from that angle where, you know, a Diggs gets his in terms of yardage, maybe scores one touchdown, but they don't go nuts where it's like a 35-31 finish. If you could swap out one of the Colts for some Bucks exposure, I'd like it a little bit more, but it honestly such a solid build.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Especially with Cup on the run back. It's nice.
Yep. All right. BMC, Brian, Millie, Noodle C. I stop there. Don't play Phillip Rivers on this slate. Play Josh Allen or maybe Russ Wilson or Tom Brady. But to me, it's Josh Allen all day. He's the only guy that really, I mean, Russ runs a ton too. Not a ton, but He will today if he's got to. It's do or die game. Russell's going to give you all he's got. So I would rank my quarterbacks: Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady for the Saturday only. So I like the rest though, but dude, I don't think you can play Phillip Rivers. Not with those guys out there. Large field. Oh, this is the one we just did. Okay. Let's see. Mark, what do we got? DK, single entries Saturday through Sunday. Lamar, love it. Rojo, I'm cool with it. Akers, definitely. Reynolds. All right, that's where I don't like it right there. You have Akers and Reynolds going against Seattle D. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense there. And you got no one for Seattle. So I would try to I love Kamara. I love Andrews. I love Pascal. I love Diggs. I would lock all those guys in and Lamar. Probably Akers. In this lineup, it makes sense to go to like Washington defense because you don't have anybody from Tampa. How about you? Or you got
I was just about to say, if you want to load up like that with Lamar, Rojo, Diggs, Andrews, Kamara, like those big five, you punt all the way down to defense and hope that Washington just keeps you alive with a couple Chase Young sacks. I'm not really on Reynolds at all though. That's the one guy that I just can't get to.
Yeah, he's in an all right matchup there, especially if that game becomes a shootout. But if it's Walford, I don't want to play Reynolds at all.
Yeah.
Other option is Metcalf and McKissick instead of Beasley Gibson. Who that was for the FanDuel one?
Let me check. Where was the lineup again? It was McKissick and who was it? Just scrolling through the comments. McKissick and Metcalf instead of Beasley
and Gibson.
Antonio. Yeah, that like I'm not on JD McKissick at all, but if it makes it work, then you got to make it work. Then that's okay. It easily gets fixed if you come off Jonathan Taylor for Naheem Hines. That's the one thing I'll say.
Big news. There we go. Walford is preparing to start, says the NFL Network. Oh, God, that is going to be a wild game then. Guys just was in finance, right? Then the Red Zone was saying he was working in finance.
It's not the LinkedIn.
That's great. All right, let's see what Dallas Poker's got for a single entry Saturday only. Allen, Rojo, Hines, Diggs, Lockett, Hilton, Higbee, Carson, Bucks. It's pretty good. I just don't trust I don't trust anything in the Rams now that Wolford's probably going. What do you think?
I would try and come off Higbee. I know he's one of those tight ends that can easily get a touchdown, just like we're talking about 3 different tight ends for Indy, and we're like, and any one of them can score. Higbee could definitely be that guy. When they get to that red zone, it's going to be Robert Woods over Higbee. It's going to be Kupp. It's going to be Wolford running it in before Higbee. Cam Akers is going to get some touches. They might even bring in Malcolm Brown, or like you can't. For me, I just, if you're going pure touchdown punt at the tight end position, I'd rather go to one of the Indy tight ends.
Yeah, I'm with that. Remember that? Yeah, Sale's been awesome. If you were trying to get away from Allen, Russ, or Brady, it's tough for me. I would go. I just can't get away. Why would you want to get away from Allen? Well, I hate jamming in all the chalk possible, but do you have any reasons why you would get away from Josh Allen?
Like the only thing that I wouldn't have a counter argument to is that if you're fading him purely because of ownership, then yeah, because of ownership, the numbers don't lie. But other than that, I don't see a reason to not play Josh Allen on a slate like this.
Yep.
Like I really don't see a reason to go anybody else other than Josh Allen, other than I'm playing a contest, one of these FanDuel contests. I think the main tournament is like 250,000 people again. That's the trend that they're going towards FanDuel. So like, you want to fade him because of ownership? I can't blame you because numbers don't lie. The ownership is what the ownership is. But other than that, I'm not making a lineup without Josh Allen today.
Yep, I'm the same way. Saturday, Sunday, then I would go to Lamar Jackson or maybe Ben Roethlisberger. But Saturday only, I am strictly Josh Allen. Just like Thanksgiving, we were 100% Deshaun Watson. He was the only quarterback we wanted to play.
I think that worked out pretty well.
He was the only quarterback that had caching lineups. So I'm doing the same thing. And you guys are like over Carson besides Hines. Yeah, I like Jonathan Taylor way more than Carson, but the prices are way different. But That's probably it for me. No, Carson's going to get 20 touches today, especially if Penny's out. I don't know. I think he's still questionable, but I don't know. I think they ride Carson in the ground. They got to, but Cam Akers too. He's going to get 20 touches.
I really do like Chris Carson today. That's one where I'm willing to eat the ownership just because Seattle doesn't have to outplay LA. They just have to not make, or I don't want to say not make mistakes. They have to limit their mistakes, especially with Goff not playing now. Like Pete Carroll knows that they can just control the clock. They don't have to throw 1 yard slants when they're at the 1 yard line at a la Super Bowl, what they did there. So they don't have to get too cute with their offense. Carson should be able to get a ton of work out of the backfield, receiving the ball too, with the coverage that Jalen Ramsey provides on the other side of the ball. So I really do like Chris Carson. I think he's severely underpriced on both sides today.
I'm 100% with you. Let's see here. Who's your lock QB for Saturday, Sunday? To me, it's Lamar Jackson. Then second would be Josh Allen. I don't think that's surprising anybody, but Lamar's my guy. He grades out higher on the 80 mile. That's my dude. Allen Hines, Ronald Jones, Diggs, Beasley, Godwin, Doyle, Metcalf, Seattle. For cash, I wouldn't play Doyle in cash. You got to get Logan Thomas in cash for Saturday only. I think
go down
Beasley,
to Pascal for one of your receivers.
Go down to Pascal or something like that, and I like the rest. Try to find Jonathan Taylor in there for cash, but if you can't, I'm okay if you can fade it if you get those type of wide receivers. Allen, Carson, Akers, Diggs, Corey Davis, Pascal, Smith, Henry. I like that. You cool with that for Saturday, Sunday?
Absolutely. Yeah, a little preview for the show tomorrow. Obviously, I'm going to be riding Tennessee. It's we're still after Thanksgiving, so all aboard.
My favorite stack of the day today for Saturday only, I'm assuming of the day, that would be Josh Allen with Diggs and running it back with Nyheim Hines and Pascal or Pittman, because it's not like that's my core stack. It's just price-wise, it allows you can get a very good lineup with that. Moving on to Michael. Any props I love today was a question too. Not really. I like Pascal over 39 yards, but I'm not going to mess with it if I'm that invested in DFS. I'm not just going double the coin on Zach Pascal. It just doesn't seem right. Allen Hines, Carson Diggs, Antonio Brown, Godwin, Thomas, Pascal, Seattle. I like that.
Strong. I like that.
Yep. Lowest owned stack. Ooh. That would probably be the Rams, right?
Yeah, Rams or Washington. We don't even know who's playing quarterback for Washington. So
yeah.
So I don't even know if we're considering that, but yeah, Rams.
FDGPP.
Allen, Carson, Hines, Godwin. I like it. Let me see if I can find you a pivot for Higbee.
Evans is active today. Isaac was wondering, does that change anything? No, I think Godwin's an elite play. We'll get to that game right after this question, and then
you could come off Higbee and go Knox. Like I said, if you're punting that tight end position on FanDuel, need that touchdown equity, so might as well double stack with Allen since you only have Diggs in there. And then you could either leave the $500 or upgrade Hines. See if you can get Rojo in there, but you most likely won't be able to unless you come off box D. Those would be the two possible changes I would make. But definitely go from Higbee to Knox, double stack Allen.
Like, oh, all right. Tampa Bay and Washington. This game's kind of gross for me. I do not want a whole lot to do with any of it, but my favorite play of the day, after further review, I think it is Chris Godwin. He's got a pretty big price at $7K, like crazy high for Chris Godwin, but he's going to be popular for some reason. I thought he'd be really low. I look at it this way. Washington has the best pass rush, arguably, maybe the Rams, on this slate. And what is Tom Brady made a living? His whole career is quick passes in the middle of the field to a guy named Julian Edelman. Imagine upgrading Julian Edelman to Chris Godwin. That just sounds like this is win or go home Brady. You have seen Edelman just shatters career playoff records throughout his career. So let's go. I think this is a perfect spot for Chris Godwin. He is Julian Edelman 2.0 because he's much more talented, bigger, maybe not better hands. Obviously, Edelman like catches everything in his prime. That's what he did. But Jimmy Moreland, the inside slot corner for Washington, is going to be one-on-one with Godwin. Thomas Davis, or who's the linebacker for Washington? It's Thomas
See us
Davis.
in the chat.
Yeah. See ya. Come on. Who do we got here? One of the linebackers is out, and he's one of the guys that I saw kind of play zone coverage on the inside with slot receivers too. So he's out. This is going to be a smash game for, as long, Washington's going to come to play. Their pass rush is going to be there. This should be a 10-plus target game for Chris Godwin. So on DraftKings, I'm all in on Godwin. He's a lock for me.
Yeah. Every single lineup that I have on FanDuel thus far has one of Godwin or AB. Godwin, obviously, the preferred target there, but strictly because of price, I have some AB. You need guys that are going to run snaps out of the slot, and Ronald Jones. Every single one of them. So, like you were saying, Tom Brady, it was his entire career, Julian Edelman, and let's not forget about James White. Ronald Jones is going to get a ton of work in this game. I really do believe that Ronald Jones is going to be one of the optimal plays today, and I have a ton of him, and every single one of my lineups are going to have him with one of AB or Godwin. Definitely prefer Godwin, but it really depends on the rest of your lineup construction with whether you could fit them in or not. But that's the route that I'm taking right now, and I started building some lineups with Gronk, and I'm coming off of it just because I was trying to play it out. I really do think that they keep Gronk on the line a lot more today than they did throughout the season. They're going to need him to block, and Gronk is an underrated blocker throughout his entire career. Obviously, everybody knows what he does with his routes and catching the football, and obviously the Gronk smash in the end zone, of course, but he's an underrated blocker too. So I really do think that they're going to keep him on the line if they need to. They're going to let Brady let him do his thing in the pocket. Hopefully they create enough time for him to dump it off to Ronald Jones or Chris Godwin and let them do work.
I'm with you, man. Anything else on this game you like? Logan Thomas, I think sorry, I got to get moving here too, but because I got to get some lineups built. Logan Thomas is my favorite tight end play. He's going to be everybody's favorite tight end play. Rob Gronkowski, I think he's a little like 20%. It's a little too popular for me to want to invest in him, but I get it. He's 3,900. He could certainly score 2 touchdowns, especially if Evans is a decoy. Antonio Brown, had a season high game last week, and Mike Evans is probably going to be banged up and again as a decoy. So I love him as well, but Godwin's my guy. I really don't like anybody on Washington. Sia is saying Heineke's going to play, right? Most likely. What does he say?
Yeah, they're saying Alex Smith is trending towards out.
There you go. So I don't even – that takes McKissick out of my player pool. I know we've seen a ton of targets for him, but that's from Alex Smith. You take out the main thing, that's handing him the ball or dumping him off the ball. I don't want to invest. So, yeah, it is no Thomas Davis. So I was right. Cool. Prop locks, I don't really have much at all. We can look on the website. There may be something in the next couple minutes here that I put up, but I don't really know. Let's get a couple more questions and then get out of here. You like anything for Brady on the Saturday only slate? Then we'll do the Sunday only slate tomorrow for you guys.
I'm only playing Josh Allen.
That's right. Same here. Ronald Jones, if you want to pair him up with Bucks D, I think that's a great correlation there. But Ronald Jones is like minus 110 to score. Not a lot of running backs today are short odds to score, so I do like that. But that's about it. Best play, not named Allen or Diggs or Cam Akers. Godwin for me.
Yeah, for me, it's Rojo with one of Godwin or AB. That's how I'm starting all my lineups.
All right. If I play 3 running backs, Rustling, Paving, and Concrete, let's go. Should it be Hines, Rojo, Carson? Saturday only FanDuel. That's you. I like those.
You don't necessarily have to go through your running backs. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to go through running backs. Hines and Rojo for me, for sure. Especially if you're not playing JT, then you need Hines. And then you could argue Carson or Akers. I'm cool with either one. I'm more on Carson than Akers, but both are good plays.
I like this one, Trent. That was a good line. All right. Last 2 questions. Let's do it. What do you like? Another one under 3,800. I try to make my builds only having one guy today at 3,800. But let's answer your question. Who else would you play? Reynolds? So you don't want to play Pittman and Pascal together. Yeah, it's going to be Josh Reynolds for me, but I don't like it. I would try to change that build up a little bit and only have one guy at 3,800. That's pretty tough. Isaac here. Allen, Rojo, Chris Carson, Diggs, Godwin, Pascal, Knox, Cup. I love that.
Very nice.
Yeah, Knox is your punt, and Pascal obviously too, but we like him. I like that. I'm good. Let's get out of here. Good luck, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Again, we'll do the Sunday slate tomorrow, and hit us up in Discord, Twitter if you got any questions this last hour here. But we got to go build some lines as well. Wrestling, you're the last question of the day. What do we got? Allen Hines, Rojo, Diggs, Godwin. AB for me there, right? Over Beasley.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. We'll love it. Let's run it. Cam Sims, there's your punt play from Sia. If you want to play Cam Sims, yeah, Heineke does chuck the ball. He did have a big arm last week, so
Yeah.
Cam Sims just can't catch the damn thing. He's going to be a big player someday, but I mean, he's obviously big. He's 6'6", but I mean, like a big time player. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much, and hit us up on Discord in the last couple of minutes here, and enjoy the games. Ghost, thanks for joining, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, I got to go build some lineups, man. I'm well behind.